All right, day 72. I'm feeling pretty good today. I haven't been eating the best, as you can see. Had some red and yellow days recently. When I have a red or yellow day, though, it doesn't mean like I go absolutely nuts and eat everything in sight and everything. It's more like I maybe when I was eating dinner, if I had a piece of chicken or steak or something, and it probably put me into the 1800 or 1900 2000 calorie area. um that's a red day. I think if I'm in the 1600 1700, I can try to call it yellow. And I'm sure some of those red days are 25 3000 calorie days. I mean, like, it is what it is, but I can say that because I'm happy today, and I'm happy because I woke up and I weighed myself and I weighed 165.6. And I know weight fluctuates. I'm gonna go back up and everything. But I've been putting on a little bit of muscle. I mean, not a ton, but like I don't think I've seen a 165 in a really long time. Probably, I don't know, actually. Probably, the wedding was that when I got married. Was that 165? Was that 3 years ago? I think ever since my wife got pregnant for the first time, and we started just going nuts eating and stuff, because you're trying to make her feel better. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna set a goal of 163, but I think I'm getting close. I don't know if the goal is 163 or 160. I don't know if I have 5 pounds to lose, honestly. But I think I think it's more of a look slash feeling that I'm going for than a number, but the number helps me keep track of it. So I I've up to 14 pull-ups. I'm still doing 20 push-ups. The 20th push-up is pretty hard still, actually. So I do think my pecs are starting to look a little bit better, but I gotta like think if there's a better way to do it. My abs are coming through a little bit more. I'm gonna start doing 10 squats. I know it's like absolutely nothing, but I need something small to get started with my legs. And I probably got to throw in some cardio in there soon. But we're getting better, So I mean, 66 days of this. I know that sounds like a lot, but it's just do a little every day. Like if you look back, I started off with one pull up, one push up. I did that for like a week, and that was fun. Like, it was stupid. Like, it was silly. Like, it was like funny to do. And then two, and then three. And then like I'm up to 14, and now I'm kind of at the point where it's like I'm like ready to push a little bit, and I'm ready to like be sore because I built up the habit of doing it. And I I set a goal of 1,000 episodes of this. I think that's a pretty cool goal. I'm on episode 72. Not that not that anyone cares about these, and not that I'm putting a lot of effort in, but it's about being accountable 1,000 times. So, um, I don't know if this is the best way to build muscle, get stronger, be happier, be healthier, but I don't think I'll accidentally end up really unhappy doing it this way. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's just a little bit at a time, and I'm sure I'm not doing it all the right way or the right reasons or whatever, or not. Like, I'm doing it out of order, or I'm not doing it enough. I know experts will say you're not supposed to work out the same muscle group every day or whatever. Um, and my answer to that is, you're right. I'll build up to that. But I know if I go all the way, I'm not going to be able to keep track of it. I'm not going to keep doing it. And I need to just keep making little small stair step improvements. I mean, I think I have a long way to go, you know, to being, you know, what I want to be. And, uh, and uh, it's hard to describe like why I'm doing this, I guess. I think it comes down to like, what it comes down to? Um, there's this movie. It's called The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and uh, I'm obsessed with these stupid teenager coming of age movies. I just can't help myself. Like there's a little kid and he has problems. I see myself, and that's one of the movies that just gets me. And Emma Watson's amazing in it and everything. And then I accidentally found the book somewhere, and I read the whole book too. And like, but of course Paul Rudd with the quote. I mean, it's from the book. It's not Paul Rudd's quote, but like the quote is, um, "We accept the love we think we deserve," and it's an applying to people that stay in bad relationships, stay, with bad people, they don't value themselves, they date beneath them, all the things. And I think in a lot of ways I'm growing out of that. I'm grown out of that. I don't know. I don't think I I definitely picked a woman that is far my superior. So I don't feel like I think, people could argue I was dating other people, but I don't know. I'm not going to say negative things about anybody, but I'll just say I think that movie at the time when I first watched it, probably 10 years ago, hit me pretty hard. And I I don't want to say I like took that as a promise to myself or something, but I definitely it's there's always a lot of like it's the same thing in life. It's a stair stepper, little things just kind of wake you up a little bit and go, "Oh, crap. That's interesting. That sounds like something I should really use to make decisions with more than I like more than my regular self." That like and so that quote, like I'm a sucker for quotes. I'll quote you all day about things that I've like, and I use quotes as tools to catch myself when I'm falling into negative behavior patterns or adding anxiety to my life unnecessarily or not being motivated, or like they really just kind of keep me moving forward. They like they just give me like really good goalposts for life where I go, okay, I was heading in this direction and it doesn't feel good. What quote along the way could I know or remember or learn to help me in this situation? And honestly, you find enough of them that's like it's a pretty decent strategy to keep you moving. You just got to make sure you find the right quotes. But anyway, so "We accept the love we think we deserve" is a powerful quote. And the point I'm trying to make, I know I'm like rambling, is I think I'm trying to apply it to more than just love. I'm trying to apply it to life. And I woke up thinking this today, that we accept the love we think we deserve. I think the point of me working out, the point of this podcast, the point of a lot of things is to be great, to be greater as a person, and to achieve greatness and do more and be greater in the word great in 10 other ways, and just really try to be like the people I find great and be more like everybody and all these things. Um, but how do you do that? And I think part of it is waking up, and I've been waking up this whole lot of the 72 days. I've been waking up and waking up more and more and more and more, and reading more books and doing more things and doing more with our startup. And the point I'm trying to make is I think there's a lot of value to take that quote and push it further and push it further, and I think there's more to it than I ever really thought about before. And so the quote I'm trying to convert it into isn't "accept the love we think we deserve." It's "people accept the life they think they deserve." And I am getting goosebumps thinking about it, because I think that's what this whole thing has been about, and I think that's what I need to continue making it about. Is I was on track to accept a certain type of life as good, normal, best, better, whatever, bad, whatever it was. I was labeling it a thing, and I think this is growing into me not accepting that life and me finding a new life that I deserve. I have to go work for it and earn it and get it and work every day and be accountable every day and get there. And great people are accountable every single day. There's no way that you can achieve anything in this world that is on a, even like state level, let alone like world level, without being super duper accountable every day, if not almost every single day. But I think that's the path there. I think that's how you do it. And it starts with not accepting your current life as what you deserve. Finding the thing you deserve and going and deserving it by working hard and getting there. So that's kind of been my reflection today is accept the love we accept the love we think we deserve. So therefore go deserve more love if you're in a crappy relationship or you're not happy or that person's not treating you well. I mean, first communicate about it and see if they can change or not change a lot, but just, understand you better and therefore interact with you differently. And then outside of relationships with other people, I think it's relationship with yourself, and I think I also started this as like a tool to help me teach my kids what to do with struggle and failing and trying, and it continues to still be that. And I think this is a good lesson for my kids. I want my kids to have this lesson tattooed on their chest, whatever. I don't, maybe not literally, but like, I want them to think about, I want them to think about love that way. I don't want them to be stuck in crappy relationships with people that don't like them or don't want to love them, but I think it extends. I think, I talk about this in therapy a lot, that like, I feel like there's a hierarchy of needs. There's like a basic, like food, housing, security kind of thing. And then you start getting into like relationships and feeling loved and feeling connected and feeling part of a community, feeling included. And I haven't like taken the time to like draw this out so it like makes perfect sense yet, but I think there's something there where I probably should do that at some point. But at some point, if you have your basic needs met, you have a normal income, you have a stable job that isn't like super overwhelming and destroying your life and your body isn't falling apart, and you have decent amount of friends and connections, and you feel connected to your relationships and your community. And then usually everyone's looking for love after that, and then everyone's looking for kids after that. And this is the rungs of the ladder you're climbing, right? And then I feel like this is me trying to push up higher. Like, I talk to my wife about this a lot, where it's like, I think I could stay in my current job, do fine with it, I'm pretty happy with my job and with everything going on with me. The point of the startup isn't because I'm unhappy. It's because I'm trying to get to the next rung of the hierarchy. And the hard part about that, of the next rung of the hierarchy, is every single time you are looking up at the next rung of the hierarchy, one of the rungs below you starts crumbling or slipping or breaking or needs repairs, or like you can never do both. You can never be watching and repairing the relationships around you or fixing or helping or growing the relationships around you while looking up at the next hierarchy of need. And that's the hardest part, is that you can't really get to the next rung unless you figure out or find a way or have a really strong situation that you can take some time to look up instead of always looking down at the things you already have and maintaining them. Like we have a house. I mean, I think the perfect example is me and my wife's relationship. The more I work on the startup, the less I'm working on us. And it's, there's no conflict there until there is, right? That's the hard part is, I think we do it really well because it comes back to communication. But at some level, I need to stop one and start the other pretty fluidly to not get stuck on the rung and to get stuck trying to either not look up at the next rung or I'm only looking up at the next rung, and me and my wife's, communication and relationship isn't like strong. And so it's a really hard balance, and then kids come into the mix, and then work and the economy, and then also I like make up new wants and needs simultaneously that of just like stupid things. So um I think that's something I've been growing in my 30s so far, is like, how do I balance all these things, and how do I achieve everything I want all the time in every direction? And the answer is you don't. I mean, like, the answer is true. Find your true north, because some people's it's screw relationships, it's screw people, it's screw whatever, and screw food. I want to only look. I want to only go to the next rung, and I would argue a lot of the great people think that way. And I guess in some ways I'm trying to be like them, but not be them. I don't want to have my family crumbling, or my house crumbling, or my life crumbling, and only be the best something in the world at this thing. I want both. I want all. I want everything. I want all of the above, or all the below, I guess. And in some ways, I know it's harder, or it's probably impossible. And I probably, if anything's gonna hold me back from being great, that's gonna be it. Is that decision of mine, and my true north is still family and kids, wife, family and kids, and their needs and their wants ahead of moving up the ladder. I think that's going to be continuing, like, going to be a tough thing, to navigate. But the hard part is, as humans, we need growth. That's one of our core needs also. And so at some point, I don't think it's like a better than you thing. It's like, it's just everyone's on their own level of the hierarchy of needs, in my opinion. And I feel like the startup is the next rung, but I need to keep remembering that I need to be super happy if that rung doesn't exist, or I can't ever get to it, but it's what my mind works on when all the rungs beneath me don't need or want, or don't need my exact help at that point, or don't need my exact nurturing at that point. And I think it's a good metaphor, because it's a gratitude exercise too. It's like, remember all the rungs beneath you. Remember all the work that you've put in to get to this rung that you're like, because we all have 99 problems, right? We all have more problems than we can think of. If we could snap our fingers and all of our problems went away, what would we do? We'd be happy for about 8 minutes, and then we'd make up new problems. We'd new wants and needs, like new things. I mean, they used to make me sad. They used to make me really depressed that we as humans, and probably as species and as organisms, can't be satisfied. But I just the point I come back to is I wouldn't exist if that was my mindset. We would all be single-celled organisms floating around in space. I would never come out of my mom's womb. We would all sit on the couch all day. Like, I wouldn't be me. And so to say I want one and not the other is impossible. So so we're all gonna, the rest of our life, try to get to the next hierarchy of needs rung. And some of them are really hard, and some of them are really easy. Is it harder? I mean, for different people, I guess I should say. I mean, is it hard or easy to have enough food to eat? I mean, I would argue it's probably the easiest it's ever been in the whole history of the universe, but I'm sure it's really hard for a lot of people. But once I finished college, and once I paid back my loans, and I started saving some money, I started going, okay, rung
I don't
achieved,
know what that means.
right?
If you like, I can't search the web for.
Stupid Apple thing.
I swear to God, okay.
Um, that's what I said. I said rung achieved. I was like 23. I had my loans paid off. I thought I was the smartest guy alive. I thought I was going places. And honestly, what I used to sit at my desk and do at the age of 23, right? You want to hear this? This is so sad. I used to build spreadsheets of what day I could retire, because I just like thought that was it. That's all the rungs there are. Like, my brain couldn't comprehend that there were more rungs. And then I was and then I just kind of enjoyed that for a couple years, and then and then when I turned 26, I hit the next rung, and I decided I wanted to find my wife, and I thought it was time, you know, and then, I found the right girl. Like I mean, I could argue there's always two sides to it, right? You can always argue like the soulmates argument, but you can also argument the just like the math. Like I went on 50 dates, like I just did it. I just went and I found the best person I could possibly find, and it can be both, maybe it's a yes and it's a both and. I think there's a lot of math, but I think I mean, there's so much random chance to it too. Like it's just so weird. Like even like all of her friends are her med school classmates. Like, what are the odds they all got in? And now they're all friends. Like she could have easily gotten into a different school. She would have a whole different group of friends, and she probably wouldn't have met me because she would have went to a different place and blah blah. So it's like, it's very I don't know. You can either call it random chance or you can call it destiny. But my kids exist, and they wouldn't exist if it didn't happen in that exact way, right? That's the hardest part. There's a great movie about that that you should watch. It's called It's About Time. I It's very hard for me to find a new favorite movie at this age, but that that did it for me. That's probably one of my favorite movies now. It's About Time. It's about this exact thing. Like you want to go back and change the past, but if it's going to change your kids, then you can't really do that. And that's what's given me a lot of purpose and fulfillment. Is like, yeah, I was a really big brickhead for a lot of years, but my kids exist, and they are who they are, and so I can't be mad or sad about that Brian being stupid, because he had to be stupid for me to meet my wife and everything. So um, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that was another wrong, and we went straight into having kids, and that was another wrong, and then after one kid and kind of figuring out, and then honestly it was deciding how to be a parent. What who am I as a parent? What am I? How do I treat this kid every day? How do I help them? How do I be? I think the goal of every parent is to be better than their parents, and it's like, how do I be better than my parents? Because I can choose a thousand different ways of what that means or how that works or what to do about that. And it's always stuff you've never thought about before too. That's the hard part. It's always stuff that you've never. I mean, as an adult, also reflecting back on how you were treated and how you felt, it's just such a different mentality. It's so, I don't know. It's obviously eye opening, but it's also just so hard because you're like, all the things you don't want to do, and it's hard to know what you do want to do after all of that. And it's so hard to make choices actively rather than passively as a parent. I think that's one of the hardest things, is to like not just be reacting to your kids' moods or stimulus or whatever, and to actually purposefully nudge them in certain directions to improve their life. I think that's one of the hardest things. Honestly, I think we mostly say that's school's job, not my job. And the funny thing is, Lorelai's almost 3, and she watches me so close and follows every little thing I do. She copies me exactly, almost exactly, and as close as she can. And it's on stupid trivial things that I would never say, copy me on this. I would say, don't copy me on this. It's usually things like little mannerisms and habits. She like catches me doing them and then repeats them to me. And but anyways, I don't, I mean, obviously parenting, it's a rung you'll never get over. You'll always want to do more and be more for your kids. Like you'll always want to help them. And I think this is me, I guess, trying to conquer that rung, I guess, a little bit of, let me go into the world and fail and try hard and push myself and be more, and let them watch me do it, because I think that will show them that they can do it too. Be more, try more, everything. And I think that, I mean, that's a, for the analogy, it's hard to keep it going, I guess, for that, the parenting rung. It's just such a like fluid changing problem solution thing. But once I found a stable job that I wasn't overwhelmed all day because I wasn't like managing 70 people anymore, that's when I started thinking about what's the next rung, you know? And it's hard because every moment I'm thinking about the next rung. It took me several months to like communicate with my wife that I still love her just as much, that this isn't a difference in me. It's a yes and, you know, and same thing with my kids is trying to find the balance always of like, how do I spend time and energy and put love into all of these decisions and into my brain towards you, and also not lose track of everything else. You know, it's so hard. And you know, and it's, you're always going to kind of fall into one side of the balance, but you got to come back to the equilibrium of it and everything. And I think some of it's just rules, you know, like that keep everything normal. Like I really try to like give my wife a gift every month or every week. I really try to like buy her flowers once a month. I really try to just like keep thinking about, and as I really try to I try to ask about her day. I try to make her feel loved and connect with her as long as and as much as she wants to every day. And I try to do with everybody in my life is connect with them on their level as much, as deeply, and as frequently as they would like to. And then in those moments where we're not connecting and I don't have anyone to connect with, that's when I'm working on this stuff. I'm working on the next rung. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. Maybe I'll never achieve greatness doing it that way. I think that's just where I found my equilibrium right now, um, where I feel like when I work on the next rung, I'm not losing track of any rungs beneath me. Because there's like, you know, when it comes down to it, I have this saying that I believe is true, is like, when it comes down to it, there isn't, I've yet to find a human's life that I would trade with. And you know, people would say like, oh, because you won't have your kids or wife. Fine, kid's wife, everything. Kid's wife are the same. Whose life would I trade with though? You know, like whose occupation, whose stresses, whose, like, even the money. It's like, yeah, it's great to have money, but like, if first of all, if you don't know what to do with it because you haven't built those skills, what's the point of having it? You're gonna lose it, and it's gonna be real sad. And you're gonna be real depressed the rest of your life. Like I firmly believe that. It's like it's grown on me because everyone wants the money, but no one A is working to achieve it, or B learning the lessons or skills to know what to do with it. And I feel like you can't have one and not the other because you're gonna be real sad, you know? And I think I am in the boat of I want to earn it rather than be gifted it because it'll show my kids how to earn it. You know, anyone can win the lottery. And you know what that's going to teach your kids? Nothing. It's going to teach them the opposite. It's going to teach them the worst things. It's going to teach them to bet on real long shots and never invest in themselves and never learn deeply about something that they care about. So I that's me. That's me finding the next hierarchy of needs. And I think everyone's hierarchy of needs might be a little bit differently. Like I said, like I think great people, their achieve greatness rung is like one of the basic bottom ones, and that's why they can't stop thinking or moving or learning. And but pretty much since about February, March, it's August right now. Pretty much since February, March, it keeps growing though. That's the hard part, is I can't like really like label when the exact moment it happened, but like I think for the first time I have found the thing that I want to do the rest of my life. Every waking moment, every day, always working towards it, always being better at it. And I finally found a good community, good mentors, good people that are all working on this too. And that's just been so nice to just, like, I've never felt, I've for most of my life up until I had kids, up until I met Carol, and then I had kids. Like, I would say around the time I met Carol, I was real stuck. I'm like, what is my purpose? What is the point of this? And I couldn't get that on my head. And you know, it took me. I mean, it's still a hard thing. You know, it doesn't really end. It just kind of gets, um, Oops. Um, uh, I think it's one of the hardest circular thoughts to get out of, or it was for me, because I would always come back to that. If something, my life got a little bit better, I would still come back to that. If my life got a bit worse, I would still come back to that. I really couldn't let go of the what's the point? We're just on a rock spinning around space. And I do come back to that if I need to like help me with a certain situation I'm in. But the kids thing, especially the kids. I mean, the wife obviously helps a lot, but the kids are what woke me up the most. To you don't care what the point of it is. You just want them to have everything. You know, the idea that we're in a simulation, or they're not real, or they're gonna die in X amount of years because the planet's gonna end or whatever. Like, obviously, I don't want any of that to be true, but at some level, I care very, very little that any of that is true or false, because I just want them to have everything, and it doesn't really matter if it's real or not. I just want it's real to me, you know. I think it's real, so that's what I'm gonna work on, and and then it really just takes your mind and shuts off a lot of the parts that aren't helpful. That's what kids do. They make other parts very more nervous and scared, and it's hard to make decisions and all these things. But fundamentally, kids have filled up my cup of purpose, and it's overflowing, and that's where I just feel unlimited. I mean, I feel unlimited love for them, and then therefore I feel unlimited responsibility and purpose to teach them how to survive, grow, thrive, evolve, fail, try, to be great. I want them to be great. I want them to want to be great, and I want them to work on it. And that's when this new hierarchy of needs rung opened up for me, and I said, okay, well, if I want that, if that's the next rung, is first you want your kids to be healthy, happy, and safe, but then you want them to be fulfilled. You want them to push themselves. I think a lot of people take that as I need to push them, and maybe that's valid. I don't know. That's not what motivates me, and I'm going to bet that they are motivated like me because they're around me, and my motivation is being around great people, and they're going to spend the most amount of time for the next 15 years with me. So what do? You need to be great, and that's what I'm working on. That's the whole point of this. That's what 1,000 episodes is. That's what all these push-ups and pull-ups and sit-ups and squats and getting a better body, making better life decisions, reflecting every day, talking to my therapist, working hard, working nonstop, connecting with them as much and as often as they possibly could want simultaneously. Even doing this so they know what I was like when I was 32 years old, when they were kids and they couldn't rationalize it. And if they want to turn me into a AI bot or whatever to talk to in the future, they can. This is for them, and this is for me. It's for me in them, and it created a new hierarchy of needs for me. And I'm sorry I'm not great yet. I'm sorry I have a lot of flaws still. And you will too. That's the whole point. But I want you to watch me work on them every day. So This is the weirdest gift you're ever going to receive. And you're not going to want it. That's the problem. Like, as soon as I like try really hard on something, you're going to say, screw that. That's not worth it. I don't like it. And it sucks, you know, like there's nothing I can do to make you think this is valuable. You know, like no matter what, as a kid, you always think that whatever you received was wrong and stupid and not the right thing. And my kids are going to say that too about this. And it's hard. I can't think of a better way. Maybe I will. I have 1,000 tries at this. This is only the 72nd try at it, you know? Um, but this is my try. Today's try. I'm going to try again tomorrow. I'm going to try every day to give you the gift of me, a mentor, a person. You're the biggest person in your life right now, and I hope that somebody else in the future that is better than me, you know. Um, but right now it's me, and I have a lot of power, and I recognize that, and I need to use it as best I can to make you better. And I don't know how to do that, so I'm gonna try every day to figure that out. When I was a kid, I used to be sad because my parents would go to work and I would go to daycare or, go to school and have to stay after and do whatever. And my parents would get home late and they'd work so hard. And I told myself that if we had enough money to do all these things, why couldn't one of my parents just not do that? Why couldn't my mom just stay home and not work? And just why I kept saying to myself, why don't my parents want to spend time with me? They'd rather be working. And it took me probably a year of therapy to get through this part, was like, that is probably true at some level, that your parents love working, and they love working probably sometimes more than that. It's never more than spending time with you. It's just that first of all, routines are really good for you, a kid, to get in the habits and build strengths that way. But also, like, we're human too, you know? And I want the best for you. And a lot of times I'm not it. It's the actual teacher that actually went to school or actually does this every day. The actual person, that does this every day. I mean, there's always a balance. There's always like I should be spending more time with you. I need to prioritize seeing you, not having you be the first and last person to all of these activities. Like, we can still spend time together. And I really truly try to be present and available very often in front of you. But I can't do both, right? If I sat there staring at you all day, you'd say, Dad, go get a job. If I have a job, you're gonna say, Dad, why aren't you staring at me? And I'm gonna try to do both as much as I can. But I know whatever you think I'm doing more or less of, you're gonna want the opposite. And that's so hard for me to know, because one day you're gonna come home from school and say, so and so's parents, one of them doesn't work. Like, why can't you just we have money? Like, why can't you just not work and spend time with me? And that's gonna be really hard. That's gonna be really hard because I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. On like a real level, I don't know why one is better than the other. It's like I'm making a decision and I'm hoping it's the right one. And it probably isn't, because you're going to want the opposite, right? So you get to catch-22. So all I can do is keep listening and hearing you and trying to make the best decision I can. And trying to be that person every day. And I'm probably not, every day I'm trying to be. But this is the point of this reflection, is like, how can I be that every day for you? I know sometimes I know I'm talking about the startup a lot, but I want you to be interested in your stuff too. I'm trying to give you as much of me as possible. So, you know me, you understand me, we can communicate, and you can feel my love as much as you possibly can. I know it's hard to feel love until you have kids. You won't know what love feels like. I didn't know what love felt like until my kids existed. So, man, this really took some turns today. So, okay, I need to wrap this up because it's probably 20 minutes longer than I thought it was going to be. But I really hope this is valuable to my kids and maybe you and your kids one day. I'm sure it's super boring, but I don't know. We'll figure that out. I'm not too worried about that. But I just want to help my kids any way I can. And today was a particularly hard day. We went to the dentist. My daughter got her teeth cleaned. She was such a perfect kid at the dentist and everything. And we get in the car, and she says, "I want to go home. I don't want to go to school. I want to go home." And she gets more and more upset. She's crying. She's screaming, "I want to go home. I want to go home. I can't go to school. I don't want to go to school." And I guarantee. I took her to school. I guarantee she felt bad, like that was the wrong decision, and she would never. She's 2.5, she's almost 3. I mean, like, but I know that feeling of like, I thought you loved me, I thought you want to spend time with me. Why? What is the point of this? Like, what is so great about going to school right now? And it's just really hard. I need to both teach you discipline, character, routines, habits, accountability, and be there for you and listen to you and give you what you want, and try to nurture you and support you and connect with you as long and as deep as you'd like. And life puts us both in situations where it's not possible, to do both. And I know there's going to be days where I don't take you to school when that's happening, because I just can't stomach it, because I think it's, and my parents had the same problem with me, I'm sure every kid says that, why do I have to go to school today? Why can't I just stay home with you? And I think it's just one of those things in the universe is whatever we choose, the kid wants the opposite, and that's how we're wired. And you want to know why? My opinion, it's to evolve. We are contrarians because we need to learn the lesson ourselves. We need to go through it ourselves with the full picture to understand it. And then we can still make decisions, but usually we choose the same one, But as a kid, your sensories are so high, and you're so risk averse, you're so pain averse, like you're so like, just don't leave me. I'm gonna die. You're so dependent upon everyone else that you just feel so vulnerable all the time. And it sucks, it's not fun. Everyone wants that part to go away. Everyone wants you to not feel that way. The whole world is trying to work to take that feeling away from you, of feeling scared and upset and not loved. That's what we're all doing. It just doesn't always translate into the right feeling for you, So I think more to come on that front, because it's just a tough subject. It's a tough thing to get right. But I think that's as far as I can go, as far as I can take it today. I got more learning to do to take it further, but I don't know enough yet to help you more. I'm gonna keep working on it, but it's hard. It's really hard to help somebody who finds your help not helpful. It's really hard to help somebody that thinks your help is wrong, no matter what it is. You know, you kind of puts you into a corner where you're like, okay, well, I guess I shouldn't help you. I can't do that because it's hard. It's too hard to do that. But yeah. So that's where I'm at. 72 days into this hierarchy of needs exploration event. It's been fun though. I've had a lot of crappy days too, but it's I'm just trying to do the best I can. Yeah, and I'm human too. That's the thing that I'm 32 and I barely understand that my parents are human too. Like I've just come around to that probably like a couple months ago, you know, and I stopped evaluating all of their decisions with the same like microscope, that I have my whole life because of that. And it's scary to think that my kids won't think that or understand that until they're at least in their 20s or 30s. I don't know, who knows, like that. It's just really really hard to communicate between parents and kids, and I truly believe the fundamental difference is because the kids have never had kids, and so they don't know what love feels like. They only know what love sounds like, or how people that love them act around them. They don't actually feel it, you know and that's what my therapist says is the worst part about humanity. The worst part about our world is that you can't feel love until you have kids, and therefore you'll never understand your parents' love until you have kids yourself. I'm still barely understanding it. I'm still trying to empathize and understand it. I'm still trying to pretend, like, do this as an exercise. Like, when you have kids and you think about your kid and what you would do for them and how you would love them and help them and whatever, everything for them, and then say, my dad feels that about me. And the more I do that, it just blows my mind, like it just, I can't, I'm still comprehending that. I think I've been comprehending that for 60 days now. But it gives me chills to think about that there's a human on earth that cares about me as much as I care about my kids, or two of them, I guess, but anyways, I'll wrap this up. It keeps going, but I guess this was one of those days where I just felt like unloading a little bit, more than I have been the last, 10 or 12. And I think it's because Lorelai hit me in one of those spots today where she felt a way that I promised I would never let my kids feel. And I know it's gonna continue to happen too. And I hate that it is happening. I hate that she felt that way. I hate myself for allowing it to happen. And simultaneously, I don't think I made the wrong decision. And so I'm stuck here knowing I made the right decision and knowing it hurt her in the exact way I promised myself I would never let things hurt her. And not knowing what to do with that feeling, not knowing what to do with that rationalization, I guess I just need to smile, wink at it, and just know that that's a certainty here on this spinning rock that we have. So, all right, that's all I got. So, have a good day. Day 72. See ya.